Hello, this is Understanding Elon Musk, and today we have a new thing. And normally I don't make any commercials because I don't do any sponsoring or something. But when I walk with the dogs and when I work in the garden, I'm very irritated with something. And let me show you. If you have like a smartphone, like this one, the first thing is if you put it in your pocket and it sticks out, you have a light. It is handy if you walk and it lights the front of you. But if you go like deep bending, it falls out. I had once or twice already that I was in a big tank. I had to grab something from the bottom, so I overreached and ploops, there went my phone in the water in an ICB tank, and bye bye. It was all wet. So I always, what I normally do is when I walk, and I used to work for the police, and try to give me the ID. Normally I do the lost button and I put like the phone under my shoulder so I can hear the music. So I walk, and it's a little bit strange because I have a phone here, but you can always, your ear is closed. And why is that also Bentley? Because I live here by the harbor, and a lot of transports for cars, because here in Chiba harbor they ship all the cars, so every night there was like thousands of cars are picked up here into Japan, and but also Japanese cars will put on the ships to Europe and all over the world. So it's always driving crazy. Those cars make enormous noise, especially when you have two big buildings and you walk between. You cannot hear anything, and even if you have it like here or something, you don't hear the speaker. So you have to really keep it close to your ear or something. So this is what was handy. So when I was this weekend shopping, normally I go to like a do-it-yourself gardening center. I saw this shirt, and it is from every even river. You can find evenriver.co.jp, and you find that they're making work clothes. Huh? Like you have in Japan also workman. And this is an even river .co.jp. That is a producer of clothes. And when I was at Kynes, they had this shirt for price off. And what is specially about the shirt? It is a shirt, and it has here something strange. You see here something strange. This, look, it is an. So I can take my keitai, and I can hold it, and I can put. There's a pocket here. You see? So now, wow, you see, I can do hello, how are you? I can listen to something, I can talk to something. If I walk, I have enough music. It is a little bit not perfect, but it is better than this pocket. Because if I overreach, I will know, look, if I overreach, it will be always this, and the front pocket will not be a thing. You are more aware that there's something here. Even if you run, it cannot fall out. You have it here, and it's very tight. Even I used the other phones for my wife, the bigger ones. They also fit in this pocket. So I'm very happy with it, and it was for half the price. Normally it is, you look at Amazon, it is 1800 yen, and this was 900, 1,000 yen. So I bought it, and I'm very happy with it. There are multiple colors, so I will go back next weekend and I'll buy a couple of these shirts because they are handy. They are probably in the sell out because the material is a little bit thick. So here it is now at the moment almost 40 degrees, so this is a little bit too thick. So, but it is good for the spring and the autumn. I see also that you have like these compression suits. Now, what is a compression suit? Compression suit is if you normally train, you get this blood that is going down in your body. That like gravity has got a hold on you, but also on your bloodstream. So your blood goes to your feet and to your extremities. How can you know that? I walk with the dog, and we also did ultra walking. That is something in Japan. You try to walk 100 kilometers in one day. So you start in the morning early. You start walking. It becomes night. You walk until the next day, until you have a 100 kilometers walk, and then you get a prize. Not a prize, but it's just to accomplish this 100-kilometer walk. Now I did already 2 times with this competition. The first time was 40 kilometers. The next time I made it until 70 kilometers because you get blisters. So maybe we are planning to do maybe another time, and then we try to get those 100 kilometers. But so why I'm telling that? If you walk for, let me say, a few hours, 4 or 5 hours when you're hiking, you feel your hands getting swollen. Maybe because you're also a little bit older. So because this is the blood is going to your extremities. So that is why you have these compression suits. And that is like a very tight clothing, upper body and lower body, and it presses the material presses against your body, your skin, and it keeps your body under pressure. Like they also have in airplanes or jet fighters. Those are with help, with extra help, that they even get the blood where it's that your body stays together. But this technology, I think one of the first one here in Japan was skin. But also I see now other trades that have these compression suits, and I think I'm now around 56, and I think I feel that this the pressure is less. So I think I'm going to buy some compression suits. Also, these suits you have them that are also a little bit tighter, so that you get automatically in a sauna suit. What is a sauna suit? If you want to lose weight, you can of course run, you can do some exercises, but you have also like a special, you can take a raincoat and run in the summer. Now you will sweat like crazy. Now that's the idea of a sauna suit. So these suits are also they compress you and also keep the heat in trapped. So you can you run for like 30 minutes. You go for a walk for 30 minutes in the beginning with the compression suit, but there's also a sauna suit, and you will lose enormous amount of water because of the sweat, and your body stays okay without any fatigue, because the compression it compresses your body. So I'm trying, and also I'm riding a lot of bike. You can maybe see behind me that I have I use Swift with a tax. What is it? Virtual bike. So the bike on the back has an I call it a special electronic machine. Maybe let's look at it. Let me look. Can I? Okay, I unplugged now. Okay. Hello. Yeah, so something went wrong, but I think because I unplugged. Let's look at what I have here. You can see I'm walking. We have outside. So of course I'm always trading. So here my FX thing. But here you can see I have the tax. So it goes. This tax machine goes to the bike, and this is a normal road bike. And then I have a PC here. And you can see here it has also end. It's the blue light here. Let me show you. The blue light is an end receiver for the tax. You can see if I switch it on, there becomes some light here. So I can ride with this bike, a virtual with on the TV. So I can show you. Here you have you can see Swift, and that's what I normally use in the morning. For other things, I also have here my bench press and my push-up rack that now functions as a dryer for my clothes. I have some weights here, and let's here see the dog. This Pul. There is Mr. Iser, and the cat today is near the dog because he likes dog, but it was a little bit dark. So the cat is sleeping in the walk-in closet. So this is a tour of the little bit of the house. This is my kitchen. Don't look at the mess. Let me show you. I have also a nice oven, so I can make the ravioli. Of course, for the lazy husband, the dishwasher. I have a Philips fry machine because I don't want to use oil. That's it. We have all kinds of other stuff here in the house, and we eat. You can see we eat. We have a lot of things here, computer stuff, and this is the eating table. Also, one of my hobbies is making carpets. This is Chihuahua carpet that I made, and so maybe I always cook, and I have normally like we eat in the morning always soup. We eat. What is it? Yogurt. Let me switch on. Hope that this goes good. Yeah, this goes. It goes good. Okay. So normally I make soup, consomme soup, or some wakamon, some Japanese soup, miso shiro soup. Then I make always. We have coffee. I make always in the morning coffee, one pot of coffee. I still have. I still have coffee. Then I make tofu. Then I make something meat. Huh? So normally this time it is sausage, or like or I make to chew my some pieces of meat or a chicken. And then what I do is we have a pan, this is bread, and it can be a pizza. I make sometimes in the morning a pizza, or I make some bread with cream cheese and peanut butter. My wife likes peanut butter, and I so like also peanut butter. And for bodybuilding, for fitness, is also peanut butter is good. So that is the meal. Let me think. Yeah, that is the main things that we eat. Sometimes I put some fruit in the yogurt. The yogurt is special because I use yogurt, granola, raisin, and always one piece of chocolate, pure chocolate. So that is the ending of the morning food. In the mid time, when my wife comes back around 12 o'clock, I try to make a salad. This time I don't use lettuce, but I have an enormous amount of tomatoes, a crazy amount of tomatoes because of my garden. So I slice 2 tomatoes. I use curry, that is cucumber. I slice one in pieces. Then I use normally the meat of the previous day. This time I have some from the weekend. I did some barbecuing, and I barbecue always some extra meat. But this time the gas ran out, and if you use a normal gas burner, the temperature is not so high. The meat is not really the barbecue meat, so that was a little bit not so good. But I have also here the fryer. So what I will do is I have a piece of beef here, so I will make I will add that to this what is it tomato and cucumber salad, and do some meat in it, some cheese in it, maybe some cream cheese on the side of it with mayonnaise. Sometimes I put an egg, half egg or one half boiled egg to it. Uh, uh, I had a lot of potatoes, and they slice into French fries. So sometimes I also fry some French fries and put it on the side. And sometimes I make some pizza. You think, wow, he makes in the morning pizza. Previous, how can that? I work at 5 o'clock because it's so hot here in Japan, and the dogs. If I walk with the dogs at 9 o'clock or 7 o'clock, it is so hot. It's not good. So I go up early. And for example, this morning I was at 5 o'clock. The dogs were already ready, so I gave them the food. I take my papillon uh, for walk. Mr. Iser is that, and after that I take Pearl. That is the Maltese. Miss P. And after that, the cat is also awake. They already eat. The cat also in the morning doesn't eat, so I make later some food. Everybody when they are washed, because they wait in the hallway, and when I'm in, I change a little bit my clothes because it is dirty, and then I take the dogs one by one. I wash them, the feet. I clean their eyes. I look if they have like hair balls or something. I check for insects. If they are very nice, pretty. Maybe sometimes when it is raining, a dog has the tendency to smell very bad because they make this if they are wet. So I come sometimes I go together with the dog inside of the shower, and we shower together. I use soap, and I have special dog soap, and we go together under the shower. Then normally what I do is I dry him off with the hair dryer until he or she is very dry and it's okay, and then I put them off, and then I take a shower again. So this morning was no rain, was a little bit not so hot. So after that, the dogs were done. I make my coffee. I boil some water for the soup. This time it was consomme soup. Then what did I do today? Some other things, but sometimes I can make like a pizza. Yesterday evening, because I have a lot of tomatoes, and every day eating tomatoes is crazy. So I made yesterday. I had also eggplants. I made a lasagna. Lasagna based on the tomatoes I had. Also, 2 days ago, I made a tomato soup. and that was very easy. I put a piece of grind meat, use some Japanese dashi, that means pre-soup powder that's based on shells. So I had there a salty, it is like salt, a little bit of like salt in it with I baked that with the mincemeat with a little bit of oil. Then I put in like a 5 or 8 or 9 tomatoes, oaky tomatoes. I chop them up, put them in, and let them boil for 1.5 hours. So, and then it becomes red and it becomes a soup. And I taste it off with a little bit of salt that it is not too sweet. The tomatoes are very sweet, and this taste is not so nice. So, but if you put salt in it, the taste comes more specific to tomatoes, and it is also not so amai, well, so sweet. So it is better tasting. And the perfect soup, I put in some sausage in it, and after I did a little bit too much mincemeat, and that mincemeat I used for the lasagna. So that's why I made yesterday a lasagna, and it was based on the eggplants I had in my garden, and I had some beans. So I made 1 layer of beans and 1 layer of nas, and then I put the upper layer with mainly cheese. So I baked that yesterday, I think an hour for 160 degrees, then again half an hour at 190 degrees, and tonight I will bake it off 30 minutes at 210, so you get a nice brown crust, and then the lasagna is done. I slice it in pieces, and half of it I split the 4 pieces, and then 2 pieces I freeze in, and 2 pieces we eat tonight, because every day eating lasagna is not what I want. So I keep 2 passes, half of it for maybe in 2 days, or I keep it for longer to eat longer. So I also do that with pumpkin. I eat half a pumpkin and half pumpkin I freeze. I defrost it, and also the dogs like pumpkin, so I can mix that through their food. So, and but we also, I put it also in the salad. If I make a salad, I put some pumpkin, smashed pumpkin in it, or sometimes some smashed potatoes. If my own potatoes, because I make around 80 kilos of tomatoes per period. I can do sometimes 2 periods in the year that I can make potatoes. That is around one time it's 80 kilos, and then it's around 60 kilos. And that is enough potatoes for the whole year almost. So this year I almost didn't buy any French fries or potatoes in the store. I can all use my own potatoes. Tomatoes, of course, I have to buy in the winter or in the spring. But now I have so much tomatoes, I'm freezing them in. And this year I also decided to have a big piece of ground where I do my potatoes. What happened is that when the potatoes are done, normally I look for what to do. And this time I decided I clone my tomatoes, and I put on that field also tomatoes. So this year, if you see it, it's a crazy amount of tomato plants. I think around 100 tomato plants I have, and my goal is to get 5 or maybe max 10 tomatoes, big tomatoes per plant. That will mean 10 tomatoes per plant times 100 is around 1,000 tomatoes. Now that you cannot eat as fruit. So what I do, I slice them in pieces and I freeze them in. And then if I want to make lasagna, or I want to make pasta, I can use those real tomatoes. And that is cheaper. Normally a can of tomatoes here in Japan is around 100 yen. So you save something, and plants I buy in the do-it-yourself store are only 70 yens. So you can imagine it is cheaper than a can of one plant is cheaper than a can, and you can get more than a can. If you buy here in Japan 5 big tomatoes, you are 250 yen. So that means 3 plants. Now I can make more than 5 tomatoes with 3 plants. So it's profitable. I have a big piece of ground. When we built the house, we bought 3 pieces. It consisted of the U form. So we bought the first place, second place, third place, and the last place we kept open because it was a little bit too much. And somebody bought it, and that they become our neighbors, and they are teachers, English teacher. One is English teacher, one is a teacher also. Her husband is a teacher that works for the government, local government, and does all kinds of organize sport events. They have 3 children, nice, and we are good friends, and they are not often there. They like to do sports, yaku, that is baseball, because that is loved in America, and they are all sporty. Daughter is also doing running and I see her sometimes when I walk the dog. When I see her and her friend doing running for marathon or doing like running exercises. I also met the neighbor sometimes. She also walks. Now I walk every day. In the morning I walk around an hour, and in the evening I walk maybe sometimes more than an hour with the dogs. So 2 hours a day, and I do my sports, which you already saw. So I'm also very active for that. Then in the morning, what I said, midday I was with the salad. The morning I do again soup, some tofu. Sometimes I do some meat or some leftovers from the day before. In the morning, also in the morning, I do my shake. I have a protein shake, and I drink my shake in the morning. Because I do the rest of the day sometimes exercises, and I bored. I take the weight. I do a bench press. This morning I did an half an hour bike, try to do half an hour a day, and then I take a long bath or a long shower. Then I drink some vitamin drinks, so my vitamins are okay, so for the recuperating of my system. So in the midday we're still busy, so we have soup, coffee again, sometimes tea if the coffee is already done. So the main portion my wife eats is a salad and lettuce. It is all vegetable, overdone vegetables with meat. Then the side dish is normally there's not really a side dish. The yogurt again. So this morning I have yogurt. We have 3 times yogurt in the morning, in the midday, and in the evening. There's a special ravioli that I found with yogurt, and I do jam in it, marmalade jam this time, and then I use raisins and with the pure chocolate. So that is really our dessert, and that we have 3 times a day. You can imagine that is a lot. I found Guillaume, that is a cheap winkel. It's like a Lidl or Aldi or very cheap vegetable. It is cheap, and there's also foreign products are there. And I buy there the yogurt, and there the yogurt is the cheapest. Normally it can be around 200 to 150 yen, the yogurt, but there is 88 yen. So I buy it here as a store, and there is a store in my place on the countryside, and there I have to really go up early in Monday or Sunday to go to the store and buy all the yogurt they have. Normally I have 10 or something, or 8, and I buy them just all of them for 88 yen. It is 800 yen, less than 1,000 yen, and we eat a whole weekend. We have yogurt, we have a dessert. There's dessert, the graglioli and the chocolate and the raisins are not so expensive. That's maybe 300 or 400 yen. So for maybe for 1,000, 2,000 yen, I'm all set for the whole week. And then you have like 3 times a day. You have yogurt, a nice dessert, the instant. Well, soup is 200 yen, 219 yen, if correctly, and that are 8 packages, so maybe more. So you can also do the whole weekend with it. Then coffee, I buy coffee. We have a coffee machine, also cheap. It is around 350 yen. Bread I buy at Guillaume. They have this French bread, and I freeze that in. So there are 8 pieces in it. So I normally I buy 2 of them. One I freeze in, one I use. Then they have donuts. We try to eat less pan, so the donuts. I only buy sometimes one, and then we have also something we are doing more is soba and tofu. Those are very cheap. I have one package you can eat, and you can split it in half, and then you in the morning and in the midday you can eat it, and it is 23 yen. Then you have what is it? Soba. That is also around 20-30 yen. So one portion is I think 23 yen for soba, and I think 50 yen for the tofu. Now I buy 4 or 5 packages of tofu. I I buy 8 or 9 soba. You buy the soba sauce is more expensive than the soba, so I buy a bottle of soba sauce. You have to mix it with water 1 on 5 or 1 on 4. So the bottle is maybe 500 yen, but you can do a long time with it. So normally we have soba if it is hot during the lunchtime. So she has soba with her salad, her meat salad. Either this main salad is that with the soup dish and the yogurt, of course, and the coffee. Now that's enough for my wife. I normally eat a little. I'm always cooking, so I'm eating. So I decide I don't eat during the lunchtime. My wife always has leftovers. I eat that. That is enough. And sometimes I snack sometime during the day after she's gone. So I don't eat really in midday. In the evening, I eat sometimes a little bit earlier as her because I have to make the food for the dogs. They eat when she comes in. She does normally sport. Then I start to cook for her, and sometimes while I'm cooking, I'm eating. Then we eat. If it is a very successful, nice dinner, I eat with her. And if I eat already I tasted too much, I just let my wife eat or give her a bigger portion than me. We have to reduce your food, of course. Often here in Japan we don't have oven cooking. They normally have all this fried food, or they have this. A lot of people use instant food, but because it's microwave food. I don't do that. Make everything with my stuff. So yesterday I made marudov. That is like a mincemeat with eggplant and then with rice. So today we will eat what I already said. I made a lasagna. I still have the rice, so I freeze that in, and then I unfreeze it tomorrow, and then I make again something with what was it with eggplants. I had 8 eggplants, so I used 4 in the. I took 2 in yesterday in food. 4 I put into the lasagna, and I still have 2 left. And those 2 I will also eat maybe tomorrow. So then I'm done with all my eggplants, and if I come back in the countryside, I will have to get 10 or something. And tomatoes also, I think I will have to come back like 10 or 20, 10 tomatoes. I also have cherry tomatoes. Now this is going a little bit crazy. I have 2 bags full. What I do is I freeze them in, and you can eat them like raw. You wash them, and they are like very sweet. So you can. I also use them as topping on the salad. I have to look because it is my wife will be in 45 minutes back, and then I have to, of course, 10 minutes I have to start with the lunch prepare. So and then in the evening I just do what I like. I look at what kind of meat, what kind of vegetables I have, and I combine it and I just make something. I sometimes fry, sometimes make something in the oven. Sometimes I make something very simple. Sometimes I make pancakes. I can buy Dutch pancakes. Then we eat pancakes, or I make a big pizza. Pizzas are crazy expensive here in Japan. So if you make them yourself, they are crazy cheap. So if you bake flour, if you use flour, you make a bottom. That's not so difficult. I have the tomatoes. You just need to buy some meat or some ham or some other thing you can decorate it with. Tip is you use a can of fish. Yeah, you make puree of it. Use some mayonnaise with it. You spread it all over the pizza. You put some tomatoes on top of it. Cheese, done. Throw it in the oven. Perfect pizza, and it's cheaper and it's more nicer than you can buy one in any store. So I'm also thinking maybe in the future to build in my garden a pizza oven, a real stone pizza oven with a real fire in it, so that if I'm in the summer or sometime in the evening I want to I sit outside, I can do a barbecue, but I then also can make a pizza. Maybe I can. My idea was to make a special place in my garden that I can make for YouTube, so I can film it. So we can make some, and I was also thinking if that is really good and it is working fine, I can interview people. I have some friends here in Japan, so why not interview some friends? I have a good camera, or I will use some other thing set up, and we can talk about people that have a business here in Japan or other experience of Japan, and just talk about it, how it is to live in Japan, I can do maybe something in Japanese because I can also talk a little in Japanese, but the nice conversation would be that maybe some conversation in Japanese, and then later I will translate it so we can. But my idea is then you see a piece of an interview, and then I will tell what was said, and then we continue the interview. And this will be a small interview, not like for an hour like John Rogan, maybe only 20 minutes. And then I will explain what was said if it is in Japanese. And then you have some experience. But that are only ideas. That's also why I need to a little bit to monetize my business, my books and my videos. I'm far away with YouTube. I have 65 members and it has to be 4,000 or something. So no, 1,000 or something. I take my time. The surprise is that Kindle books are doing much better. I'm selling around 100 books a month. Making and not, I do it very cheap, so I'm not making a lot of money, but that's okay. But that money is already a little bit of support. I use it mainly for buying extra stuff for the animals, for the dogs and for the cat, an extra nice treat or something. And I also invest so a little bit in the garden, so it's easier. Of course, the main stuff that is all supplied by my wife. She is working. She is the earner. I'm the houseman. I write books. This morning I wrote already 5 books. Now I do something else, but tonight I will write another 5, maybe a little bit more than 5 books. So that will mean per day I have like 10 books I can write, and the books are written. Then they stay in Word. Then I have to make the makeup, and so I have to translate it in the desktop publisher software that they are nice for Kindle. Then I need to find the front picture. That I use special software for that, of course AI. So then it's the front picture, and then if those 3 things are done, I published. So what normally I do, the beginning, I have around 30 days in a month. So normally 20 days I generate these Word documents. Then I take 5 days, 1 week to transform them and do them the desktop publisher that they're ready to publish. In the meantime, I already, for the titles, if I have the title of the book, I put it in as a prompt for image generation, and I look if I can find nice images. Now those are already storing during the whole time. So when I'm at day 25, I have already the documents all in a good format, and I have already a load of pictures. Now what I do then is, then I do the 5 days of publishing. You can maximum 30 books a day, so I do it 10, 10, 10, 10, so around 50, or sometimes I do 20 a day. Publish them on a Kindle book with the pictures, everything, check if they are okay. So you can imagine if you want to publish 100 books in a few days, you need the max you can do 3 days, because 30, so 4 days you need. So you're already 4 days you're lost just publishing. I'm around 5 to 5, maybe a little bit more for the makeup of those 100 books. And the 100 books itself takes around 20 days to generate. You can imagine it, 10 days, 10 books a day. That will say in reality you only need 10 days. 10 times 10 is 100 books, but you have the weekend, I have the other things to do. So not always time to have an effective day that you can make 10 books. So 10 books in 100 books in 20 days is doable. Sometimes I say, okay, this month is a little bit, I cannot do it. I do only 50 books this month. But my goal is 1,000 books. I think maybe I cannot make it, but let's hope, let's get it as a goal. Maybe in the end of the year sprint, one month I do 200 books. I don't think that's possible. The other problem is if you write so many books and so many subjects, you run out of subjects. So you have to think, oh my God, what kind of book must I write about? But luckily I always find something, or I get an inspiration and then start. In the meantime, I'm also trying to reduce my whole publishing. I want to speed it up more, so that I have an extra few days per month for my fantasy book. The fantasy book is now getting more and more, and I've decided not to release very fast my first book. I first want to have at least the second book halfway done, or I know what it is, and then I will correct my first book a little bit, and I want to make my third book already. And I have other things, is I want to have the big plans for all the characters for the next 2-3 books. I want to write them down in another document. I have another document that that is specially made for me. So I described the dimension, I described the environment, the study, everything, the character development, the plot development, some tricks, some jokes. I write it all in a document and I integrate it. I can use those pieces later in my book. If you want to think how can I make those technical books are much easier. You look at available data for a subject and then use that to write a book and if it is about like the stock market or the financial market, it's for me much easier because I've always worked in there. I still make software for it, and indicators is for me very easy because that is something I used. I made indicators myself, and AI. I also had 3 years or 4 years. I programmed an AI, built an AI for trading, so I know everything about RNN, CNN, all those standard training for machine learning. I built them on Colab and I made software. I made a super database for all the FX pairs I could find for 20 years. So I had like 20 FX pairs, 20 years data, tick data, and it became an enormous database. That database I used for machine learning, all kinds of statistically methods to find patterns in the data, for the prediction of the stock market and for FX. For the stock market it's much easier because there's only daily candles that are interesting. So for Tesla, yes, 20 years. You cannot learn anything there. Or you have to go much smaller. But to see a real trend, you need more data now. And then if you look at Euro USD or you take another pair, that is so much data. If you do the hourly data for the FX pairs, now there's a crazy amount of data there, and there you can train a machine on. My conclusions in my books. What I concluded with, is it useful or not? Now I can lift up a little bit the curtain. It is no. It is. You cannot predict with methods, the machine learning devices we have now. You cannot really predict it. There is something promising, that is Fourier analysis. So you have higher harmonical signals in the charts. You see them as moving averages, like the 200-day moving average, the 30-day moving averages. You have crosses between them. You have extremes, the Bollinger Bands, 3 times the derived the version of the on top of a moving average that you see in a moving average. You see 2 lines, an under and an upper piece. And you often see that if it goes away from this middle line, it will hit the top and then it reverse. Now these are the Bollinger Bands, and then you have something like the MACD. That is also, you can see some prediction when it is going down, a trend, but it's all followers, a little bit predictable. Sometimes it sticks to the band and it follows it up, but normally it doesn't. There is a point there, so normally you can take profit there, or you can go out if it goes wrong. These are very interesting mathematical things, and yeah, that is what I studied a lot about. So if it is this principle, I have to write a book about it. Is for me very easy to check and confirm. Because I'm here in Japan, Ichimoku, so I also use Ichimoku, the cloud, and all the lines, the 3 lines there are. The moving average that is different for here in Japan than the normal moving average that is used in the West. The candle patterns, I always look. Do they work? Yeah, if you look at the back, but in the future, I have my thoughts about it. There are some people that said that all the indicators and all those toys for that you put in the chart are useless. I have to agree 70% with this person, but you can use it a little bit, 30%, and then the trick is, if you have this 30% and you know it, make use of it, and then you can make sometimes very nice profit of it. So, but 70% of the time it is always guess. It is a 50-50 or sometimes less than 50-50, because here in FX world we say 99 days, 99% of the people lose 99% of their money. And that's true. It's still true. So, I think we talked a lot about training. I love showing me some machines. I show you around. You saw the cat, the dog, and the other dog. We talked about food. Didn't know that I maybe that I'm also cooking. I do a lot of fitness things here during the day. Also, what my advice is for all you geniuses and Elon Musk or whatever. Uh, do fitness. The brain cannot, your temple is your body, but my fitness instructor and all they said. So if you have a good brain and you want to, you have this, you want to do a good job and you have to put a lot of energy in it, you have to have a body to support it. When I was programming, I learned like an enormous amount of source code in a small time. I did a lot of projects with deadlines, the Millennium projects. I worked. I got this because you're just behind an office, behind a keyboard. You are a keyboard warrior, and after that, you want to do physical something. You can go to a soccer game and fight hooligan. No, I go to a gym and lift weights. Sometimes say, why do you lift weights? You want to impress the ladies? No, I just want to get rid of my frustration. Or I always make the joke, yeah, I want to be muscular. Why do you want muscular? Will you attract girls? Yeah, no, no, no. I want to be just a muscular nerd. Yeah, why not? Huh? You know how to get muscles. You know how to that fitness is good for you. Why not do it? And you get really, it is a good way to get rid and set your mind on zero. So I normally did like a big project for Millennium, compiling Linux. Was done frustrated, an extra library, Moikai again compiling, and after a day of frustrating and already 7 o'clock, oh my god, today is done. Take my bag, walk on the end of the street to the gym. The gym owner said, "Hey, take a shake, Henry. You look frustrated." So I pump iron, and after pump iron, he gave me a nice other shake. We talk a little bit, and you make some impression of the ladies there. No, not always. More friends there that I meet there. Sometimes I take some friends or meet some friends, and we do some cardio in the time. But we are talking like 20 years ago, or something like 10 years ago, in the Netherlands. So at that time, I was always a fitness. I did a sauna. Now, if I was done, I walked back to my house. I could walk from my work from the fitness school. The fitness school was the end of the street. So it is in the middle. So in the beginning of the one side of the street was the terrain of the company. There was the computer repair shop, and on the other side of the street was a fitness club. So I walked there, and there were a lot of people training there, but they, from our company. But it's only like they keep it for half a year or 3 months, and they stopped. And then the new year, oh, they started again. But I continuously sit there. So from that place, I went over a bridge. From the bridge, I went through the supermarket, and then I had there my apartment behind, opposite of the supermarket. So I walked literally to the supermarket to buy my food, pizza at that time, and go upstairs in my apartment and turn on my computers there. So I turn the computers for my work off and turn the computers on in my living room after sport. And there I have my not World Online, but it was Earth and Beyond, space MMO. Online game, and I played that from when I come home. I switch on the computers and log in with 2 or 3 accounts, set up my trading routes for my spaceships, let them run, eating, cooking, look a little bit television, and then I start playing. People come online in England after work, speak with them on my phone, and on my headsets in that time, or even my speaker, and played with the guild. We did our missions until 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. Take a 2 hour sleep and go back to debugging Linux or something, or compiling setting up some server. Get frustrated, get the frustration out of your life with some fitness, and then go again sitting on your ass behind the computer playing games until Nathan died for the next work. So that was a life I had for a long, long time, 3, 4 years. I had to. After that, it became much easier, and then I had to dream a talk with somebody who was working in repair, and he said my dream was always he loved martial arts, to go to Japan. And he said, Henry, you still have the time, you're not married, no girlfriend, go to Japan. So I went first with a friend on vacation to Japan. Then I joined a club, an anime club that also went there. And then I tried to go once or twice a year to Japan. And then I said, okay, gets too expensive. Why not immigrate there? That was not possible. So I lost my company and I went to a company, an American company that worked there nearby. And that made ETL software, that was Informatica. There I worked for a few years. I did there something very amazing. They placed me in Japan office. That was my ticket to Japan. And so I ended in Japan. So that is how I think I want to talk. You now know a little bit more over my private life. Next time I can show you maybe more what's here outside. We have here, you see a very big window, but behind it, secret? No, there is a harbor here. And there's a Nihon Shilo. So here's where the beans, where you make tofu with special beans. Now these, I don't forgot the name. These beans are stored here and they're shipped all over the world. It's one of the best export products and import products for Asian countries. They use these beans for everything, for tofu, to make tofu and other things. And yeah, that's maybe I can show you a little bit more about the environment here where I live. Maybe also I will do one. I have some movies already for my garden where I make some extra electricity there. So maybe do a small. I can maybe dig it up. Dig up my experience there and just throw it as an intro for my podcast and do something with that. So I have to make food. I see it is already. My wife will be here in 20-30 minutes. So everybody have a nice day. I will make this video online today, and we see each other. Maybe I'd make one later and then talk more about the future of space. Let's do that in preparation of a successful launch of Starship. See you.